The Obama administration has just announced that it will no longer defend the the Defense of Marriage Act in court. They call it DOMA, Defense of Marriage Act. President Clinton signed this thing. It allows states to refuse to recognize same-sex unions from other states. It has been in place for more than a decade. And the U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder has just announced that President Obama does not believe the law is constitutional, and neither does Eric Holder.
Hey, everyone. Hey, thanks for watching another episode. I've tried day after day to post another fundamentals blog, but then now and when blogs that you guys probably love so much. But it's really hard recently because there's so much stuff going on in the world. The world is changing so fast. It's hard to recognize what's going on. It's hard to recognize the world anymore, including America. I learned today, and let me say this off the bat. I don't know all the facts to this story. I've done as much research as I could today, so I'm going to tell you my opinion off of all the facts I know, what I learned today. So my opinion on this could change. I doubt it will, because this is fundamentally absurd, constitutionally perverted, and blatantly wrong. I learned today that the Obama administration, as you just saw in the video, has decided to no longer defend a constitutional law called the Defense of Marriage Act. And what is it, you ask? It's a federal law signed in 1996 by President Clinton. And it says the government basically defines marriage as a union between one man and one woman. And from what I understand, if one state allows same-sex marriage, this next state over here doesn't have to. Because federally, it's one man and one woman. So I guess the states have, they can decide what they want in their state. So President Obama, I don't know, I guess his higher education, his enlightened mind, I guess, has decided that Section 3 of the law is apparently unconstitutional. Wait a second. Can that happen? Is the president allowed to just discern himself what is constitutional or not? Is that in the Constitution at all? And to boot, can the Department of Justice ignore the Constitution when it tries cases in court because it thinks something is constitutional, is unconstitutional? Apparently, it can. Maybe there's a page? Oh, maybe there's a page of the Constitution at the White House that isn't in any other Constitution disseminated through the public. That's got to be it. There's got to be something that we're missing here, right? This is crazy. This is outrageous. Viewers, I'm sure you're already steaming. I haven't even finished this, and I'm sure you're like, what? How can this? How? I don't know how. Okay, and this topic isn't going to be about what I think or what you think about what the definition of marriage is, okay? That's a whole separate issue. This is about power and what the president is allowed and not allowed to do. What is a law if it can be changed on a whim? What is the Constitution if it can be interpreted on a whim by anyone who chooses to do so? Do I just need to be in a political position to interpret the Constitution, or can I do it right now? I'm going to do it right now, interpret it how I think it's going to be, and live my life that way. I tried. And please, if you know of an instance, please comment or email me. But I tried to find a president who disregarded a federal law and deemed it unconstitutional without repeal or ratification by the Senate or Supreme Court, and could not find it. The closest I got, there were two situations that were close, and it was the Dred Scott decision and the Fugitive Slave Act. Funny how the Lincoln era keeps popping up, huh? It's weird. Now, the Dred Scott decision, of course, it's blatantly obvious that it was unconstitutional. People are free no matter what, okay? And that was the epic struggle of the day. However, if it was the law of the land, people followed it. Lincoln followed it because he understood that if the Constitution became worthless, just a document with no power, chaos would reign and slavery would thereby never be abolished. You had to do it within the confines of the Constitution. As much as he saw slavery as a huge evil, he understood that. And then he could not just go out and say, well, that's not right. The U.S. Supreme Court it's flawed, and it was flawed, but you can't just say that and dismember it, because then there's nothing to back the Constitution. There's no teeth to the Constitution. If you have the leader of the free world openly stating that the supreme law of the land is unconstitutional, who's going to follow it? Am I talking crazy? Am I crazy? The other situation, the Fugitive Slave Act, and I talked about this earlier, it's by law, if a U.S. Marshal came to you and said, you're coming with me to find a slave, by law, you had to do it. Lincoln talked about this. I don't know the quote verbatim, so I'm just going to do it not even close to justice here. But basically what Lincoln said was, I will go with that marshal if he came to me, but I would tell him that there are many more people that are faster than me. Basically saying he's going to be a big pain in the butt. But he's going to follow the law because that's the law. Does a house divided will not stand? Does that ring any bells, anyone? Does that still matter? And I find this really odd because President Obama is supposed to be he understands Lincoln history. He's well read in Lincoln history, from what I understand of Obama. I don't know, but of course the guy reads Reagan too, and then compares himself to Reagan. So this guy, Now, some people say that this is because the Democrats couldn't ratify or rescind the bill because the majority of Republicans in the House there's no more Democratic majority. I love it. What is the reasoning drives me crazy. So let me get this straight. The new strategy now is when you can't win, run away or become the final authority. Is this Democrats? Is this your strategy? You just run, you cower, or you say, nope, I'm going to tell you how it's going to be. How can this be right? I even, because I have to, I got to give the other side their due credit. I tried to get some kind of understanding by trying to find what the Obama administration's reasons for this is, and I found a quote from Eric Holder, and he said this, quote, much of the legal landscape has changed in the 15 years since Congress passed the bill, end quote. Much of the legal landscape. What is that? What legal landscape? Has the Constitution changed? I think it's the same. Maybe, I don't think anything has changed. I don't think any legal landscape has changed. Right? We still pass everything the same way, don't we? I know you're trying to change everything, but not much has changed in the last 15 years. The legal landscape. That means nothing to me, Mr. Holder. Now, he also noted that the Supreme Court has ruled that laws criminalizing homosexual conduct are unconstitutional. and that Congress repealed the military's don't ask, don't tell policy. Well, yes, they did. They did repeal that. And that's for the military. And yes, criminalizing homosexual behavior is unconstitutional. I'll give them that. But isn't disregarding a constitutional law unconstitutional too, Mr. Holder? Or did you skip that class in college, law school? Did you skip that one? Did you drink too much that night and you couldn't go to that class? You gave him a sick note, or did you give him a sick note to go to a protest? I don't know. If you want to repeal a law, do it the right way. Hope and change, ladies and gentlemen. You are getting it. Please do research on this topic on your own, because, like I said, I don't know all the facets involved, but I tried to do as much as I could, and I needed to get this out. It's crazy. Thanks for watching. We'll do another follow-up one after this, and empowering you to take back this country, and we'll talk to you very soon.